Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shailene, and today I am coming back with another sewing video, but this time it's gonna be more like rave festival wear related. To be honest, I actually did not know what I was yet gonna film today. I knew I wanted to sew, but I was like, I have this whole basket, don't judge. I have this entire basket full of clothing that I either wanna flip, that just need repair, and I'm looking through this pile. I saw this shirt, which I thrifted last week, this black sequin top, which I thrifted a while ago, and this black dress that I don't fit into. It's not my size. I bought it sheerly because I loved the fabric of it and I thought I'd be able to flip it one day. And I'm actually attending a concert tomorrow night where I told my boyfriend that we should both wear all black. It's an EDM show underneath a highway, underneath a bridge. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be fun. But I'm like, we should both wear black. And I didn't really know what I was gonna wear. I was just gonna throw something together. It doesn't really matter. But when I saw all three of these pieces, I'm like kind of feeling mega inspired to make something dope. So I think that's what we're gonna do today. If you've seen any of my other sewing videos when it comes to like festival wear, rave wear, I kind of like an eclectic style. I mean, I like that anyways, outside of festival rave wear. I like layering. I like piecing things together. I feel like it gives more of a dramatic look. I just think it's fun because like clothing is an expression. Like why not go a little crazy? So today, this is kind of the inspo I'm thinking of. Now, obviously not all of this is the same, but I'm taking inspiration from all of it. I'm obviously working with limited amounts of fabric, so I'm gonna have to figure it out, but ideally, if I could, I would love to make a top and a skirt of some sort.
Not this time. It never happened.
I'm gonna be working on this outfit today, but if you wanna see more sewing inspired videos that are not necessarily festival or rave wear, or you like all of the above, hit the subscribe button. I literally have an entire basket of clothes waiting for me to thrift flip. It's only a matter of time before I do another project. Okay, without further ado, let's go. Now, before we get started, I actually have some projects that I've done in the past that I can kind of use as inspo. This being one of them. This is like a tattered fairy skirt I made for a festival a couple months back, and I like literally just like Mod Podge stuff together to make it look like this, but I like how it's like fairy-esque, roughly layered, like I like. I also own this skirt, which is very Barbie. Hi, Barbie. I'm obsessed with this. It is unbelievably short. It can only be worn for like a festival or something where I don't mind my booty cheeks being out. It is so cute, and it has like 2 layers, plus like, a band right here, and I'm thinking like I could use this as inspiration. If I could make a skirt, I would. I don't have confidence in my ability or the amount of fabric to make shorts, so I'm probably not gonna do that. But if I can make a skirt kind of like this, then I could just wear black tiny little shorts underneath. So this is like kind of the vibe I'm thinking when it comes to a skirt. Depending on how much fabric that uses, I have a couple other ideas. For the top, depending on how much fabric I have left to work with, I'm either thinking like a bra top situation with a swoopy neck, which I have made something like that in the past, or I can just make like a tiny little like bra top situation with straps, and then also make like arm things where I can like have flowy arms. I'll show you what I mean. These are leg warmers I made, which I'm thinking I could wear with the outfit as well. I made these for New Year's last year. It's like a paisley print. It goes really well with the vibe of what I'm working with right now, to be honest. But these are leg warmers, and I'm thinking I could do something similar with my arms. So I think I have to start with the skirt first, and then we can just go from there. I literally keep everything. I keep all my scraps. If it's like a usable scrap, and usable, I mean that lightly. Scraps like this, I will keep, because like I hate fabric waste, I hate textile waste, and so if I could reuse this in some way, I will. I forgot I had these, but these are also fabric scraps that are like cute little like fairy petals. It was a thrifted skirt. I thought I was gonna use it for a fairy skirt like over a year ago. I have a lot of these, so if that were to like kind of be a layer of the skirt, I feel like that could be kind of cute. As I'm thinking through this skirt is like too short. Honestly, I wish it had a little bit more length to it. This obviously does a little bit, and I don't hate this length. I think this is a good length. So I'm just gonna compare these two to see how much more length the one I made really has. Not much, honestly. But what I'm really trying to take inspiration from is the layering of this, how it's constructed. Because for mine, I had a base layer and then I attached all these extra pieces to it, and I don't think I really have enough fabric to do that. So I actually kind of want to take more inspiration from this one, in the sense that like I'll have one ruffle layer here, and then maybe that's this fabric, and then maybe I'll have like another ruffle layer that's this fabric. I think that's kind of how I want to do it, but I just want to make sure this is longer. So I'm like, maybe I do 3 ruffle layers. And I obviously have this shirt. Now, originally when I got this shirt, I was thinking I was going to turn it into one of those shirts that like swoop down, and like I still could turn it into that. The back is just black, so it's like that could just be a base to even attach these to be honest. So that could be the top instead of like these black sequins. I'm just trying to think through this because, again, I hate wearing clothes only once, or only like making clothes or wearing clothes for one occasion. I try to rewear clothing, but like it's fun to make clothing, so it is a little hard. But I'm not in the business of just wanting to make something to only wear it once. And so I'm also thinking about if I were to make like a bra top of sorts with the sleeves instead of one of those like swoopy neck shirts, then that really limits me on like where I can wear it. So I'm thinking like obviously I would only then wear it at a rave. That would be my option. Whereas a swoopy neck shirt, I could wear that to like Vegas or a night out at the club. You know, it doesn't have to necessarily be a festival. Again, I'm working with like limited fabric here, so I kind of have to make a decision on how I want to proceed. Like this is either going to be a layer in the skirt or this is going to be the shirt. Originally when I saw this dress, it's like a medium. It would not fit me. I'm at least an extra large, you know? It does not fit the way it is. But I was thinking about turning it into a skirt. So maybe instead of like layering these all together, I could create separate things, because this sleeve could kind of work for what I was thinking for like the bell sleeves, and that could tie in like a skirt. You guys are really getting in on the creative process here. Can you tell I overthink? I think I'm gonna stick with my original plan of just trying to turn this into a skirt. Then for the shirt, I can wear whatever I want, and I think I'm gonna start there. Maybe I don't even cut up all this fabric today. Maybe I do. But I'm really liking this print, and I think it goes well with the leg warmers, and so I think I just want to start here. I'm gonna have to make major adjustments to this as it is. It's not gonna be like an easy project by any means. Fun thing is like all these little fairy petals I have kind of match this like perfectly. Like it's a vibe. Like it feels like they could go together. So I'm going to utilize these in this project, which is exciting because I've had these for like over a year now. And I was trying to figure out like what fabric could I use to attach these. Like I need to be able to sew these to something to create a layer. Do you remember I turned some brown sashes into a skirt, hated it, then turned the brown sashes into this skirt. But I have a few of these sashes left. Yes, it's brown, but I'm just gonna do my best to like cover it up so you can't even really tell that this is part of it. It'll just be like the underside, which I think will work. So first things first is I need to cut this up. Okay, this fabric is sheddy. All right. I'm gonna try to save all the beads because I actually like to bead too, so save the beads. Thinking if I were to just start cutting relatively thick strips, make them even strips, then I can like piece those strips together to create the ruffle around the skirt. I kind of need this thickness of layers. When you hold it up like that, it's not very much fabric at all. My fear is that once I start, if I don't have enough fabric, then I'm like kind of stuck. Great news, you guys. I have a shirt that I'm willing to donate to the cause to make this work, because this dress has like a little bit of velvet on it, and I'm like, how could I make it like, if it cannot stretch all the way around, which I like need it to, how am I gonna make this work without adding like more intricate design? Like I want this to be the skirt. I've decided I don't want necessarily to do so much pattern. Don't I have a black velvet tank top that I don't ever wear? I'm literally just hoarding it. Yes, I do, and I'm gonna donate it to the cause. I'm thinking like, this is also not a ton of fabric. Obviously, it's a tiny little tank top. It is fabric nonetheless. So now I'm like, can I make this black velvet be the bottom ruffle? The one that like, you just need the length for it, really just taking you guys through the creative process. We'll save these strings. Nothing gets tossed out in this household. So if we're taking this skirt and using this layer as the example for the thickness of it, as expected, this is not enough fabric. So what I'm doing is just cutting this rest of it as best I can, cutting it in half so then I can sew them on top of each other to just create more width. But that way I gave myself just a little bit more fabric, and I've basically used all the fabric, not a lot of fabric waste, which is great. So I'm just gonna sew these two pieces together, like right sides together, and make them one piece. So now it is one piece of fabric, and now I'm just gonna attach this longer piece of fabric to it. Same thing, right sides together. You know what? I actually think the width is like kind of perfect. It is not so bad. Like, look at me go. Feeling like a professional. So now this is one piece of fabric, and it is like plenty long enough to ruffle and just like make the size that I want it to be. This is all good to go pretty much. I made sure that one side is hemmed, the bottom side, so that's all good to go. It's all one piece. I'm gonna set it to the side. I think now I actually want to start from the top down because I need to create a waistband. So this top band is 48 by 4-ish, give an inch for seam allowance. So then I need to lay this fabric out and measure 48 by 4 to create the waistband, work with the fabric instead of against it. I think that would be good. Unfortunately, I am cutting into beads, but I'm just gonna try to save the beads for another project. Reduce, reuse, recycle, friends. So obviously this is not the cleanest looking fabric, obviously. Did the same thing. I did right sides together and made both of these pieces of fabric one piece. Okay, yeah, so this is 60 and I needed like 50. I think. Now that these are connected, this is basically wide enough to fit over my hips and that's it. I've just gone ahead and like hemmed the one side of it, which will be the top. It was really challenging because there's beads everywhere. So my sewing machine was having a little bit of difficulty. Not only that, but I broke a needle. But now I have one side that's finished, and then when I attach another layer, this other bottom hem will be hidden because I'm going to do right sides together, and then I'll just do like a zigzag stitch on the inside to, you know, have the edges not fray. But I think we're good to go on this piece. Now I want to move on to the base of the skirt. I want to create the ruffle. So it is also like 4 inches, but I kind of think I want to cut 5 just to be sure because I'm struggling a little bit. But I also want to work with what I have. I want to work smarter, not harder here. If I were just to fold this in half, that would be 5. Oh my gosh, I'm a genius here. Problem is like I'm upcycling fabric, so like it's not straight. So I'm just gonna do my best to cut it like right in the middle. What I've done is created strips of fabric that are more or less the same width, where I can now sew it together, right sides together, and create one long stitch of fabric. It's not going to be even, and that's just the reality of it, but I'm going to like ruffle it up a little bit. Like, yeah, it is going to look like a fairy rave skirt for sure. It's not perfect, but once it's all like ruffled together, I think it's still going to look really, really pretty. So the next course of action is I just need to like literally connect all of these pieces together, probably hem it a little bit to get look a little nicer, and then we can start piecing the actual skirt together once I have all of these elements finalized. Go ahead and sewed most of the pieces together, but I actually think this will be enough fabric, so I don't think I need to add any more. So now I'll have a little bit more fabric to work with, but there'll be a layer somewhere around here. So now we have a layer, but I need to hem the bottom part because this bottom part is the ruffle. It's gonna be shown, whereas this top part, I'm gonna hide it on the inside. So I'm gonna just hem along this bottom part here. So to hem, I'm just gonna like fold it over and sew along the top. I'm gonna do my best to avoid the beads because that's what's making it challenging. So I'm gonna like fold it over, pin along the entire thing, and then I'm gonna try to sew it with this side up just so I can see where all the beads are. All right, here goes nothing. Oh, this fabric is so hard to work with because of all the beads. Like, I should have guessed that, but like it is like almost painful. It's gonna be worth it in the end. That's all I keep telling myself. And I mean, I'm getting a lot of beads out of it. I'm having to like backstitch, skip over a part, backstitch again, and then start. That way it doesn't come unraveled, but that way I can like skip over the beads. Jeez. I broke another needle. Use beaded fabric if you want to break a bunch of needles. That was low-key excruciating. I think I've broken 3 needles on this sewing adventure so far just because of the beads. So if anybody has any tips or tricks on how to sew beaded fabric, like do I need a different needle or do I just need to like go slower? Like I was going pretty slow, and there were times that I would go slow and then it would like I thought it would break and it wouldn't. It was just like glitching. Then other times I would like break. Nonetheless, the bottom is hemmed. So I think we can start like building the skirt more or less. I need to figure out how to attach all this together. This layer and this layer are all attached at the same point. So then I'm like, how is that possible? It's just like a really thick seam, which is doable, but I don't think I can do it all at the same time. I'm like struggling here. I'm gonna sew this together to create a circle, and I'm gonna do the same thing for the one I just created, and then I'm gonna do the same thing for the velvet layer as well. That way they're all circles, and then I can see if that length is good or if I need to add another layer with those like fairy petals. I might have to do that, which would be more work, obviously. A lot more work. So now what I'm doing, it's kind of confusing, but I can't gather with the basting stitch because of the beads. It's too challenging. So I'm gonna like manually do it. basically just finding the half point for each piece of fabric and laying it flat. So here's a half, here's the half. I need to line these up, right sides together, but wrong edges together. So that way when you flip it, it'll create a really nice seam right here. I have the hem right here, the hem on the top. The unfinished hems are matching up right now. But I'm gonna do the edges, and then I'm gonna do the same thing on the sides. That way it's in like quarters, and it'll be easier to gather from there. So then if I've done it right, they're all connected, wrong hems together, and now I can just work in like these quarter chunk sections. And how I'm gonna do this is, you know, maybe I'll start in the middle again, connect to that, and then in this tiny little section, what I need to do is kind of like fold over top of itself to manually create a ruffle, and I'll be sewing over that fold over. So if you can see, now it's a ruffle. If I've done this right, which fingers crossed I have, now I have 2 circles that are the same length. So now what I have to painstakingly do, because it's beaded, I need to go around this edge and just sew that all together. I'm gonna go really slow so I hopefully don't break any more needles. Oh my gosh, I might have done it without breaking another needle. Okay, I've like worked so hard for so little, but this part is 100% finished except for like adding in the elastic and then cutting off all the strings, but it's like hemmed. I've like removed all the extra beads from the seam. So it's like we have a start to a skirt. It's like literally nothing. This is what I have so far. Literally nothing. I have the velvet layer. Kind of hard to tell because I'm wearing black velvet pants right now. If I were just to add in this black velvet layer, I still think it's too short. Not the vibe. I'm gonna do the same thing I just did, but I think it'll be a lot easier because I'm not gonna be going through beads. And I'm going to attach this black velvet underneath. This is where it gets a little tricky because I need the velvet to be at that bottom layer, not the top hem. I'm gonna use these pin needles instead, now that I've marked where it is. One here, one here. Now it's pinned all the way around, and I just have to be good at sewing it. Okay, so as one would imagine, it is too short. I cannot turn around, that's for sure. So I do need to add another layer. But like this layer went by so fast because I didn't have all the beads to worry about. I have the brown sash here and all of these fairy petals. And what I've been doing is just sewing each petal on. The back is not pretty, but it does not matter. And I kind of did like a rough measurement of how much fabric I needed plus like how many petals I needed. So like I went through and made sure that I had enough. And I think I will literally have just enough if I do 2 rows like this. So I'm gonna keep going with it. Final update for the night. I needed it to be longer because if I'm attaching it the same way I've attached the rest of them, it like connects up to that seam towards like here. And so like this one sash was not going to be long enough if I wanted to like not sew into the other ruffle, and I don't. So I ended up using another sash, which we just talked about the fact that I'm using so many materials right now that I've just been sitting in my wardrobe. I'm like feeling so proud of myself for using all my scraps right now. But now I have more length to it, and I feel like now once I attach it to the seam, I feel like that's going to be like perfect length. Manifest with me that I can get this done really quickly tomorrow. Good night. Good morning. I've already gotten an early start this morning, so I want to show you progress updates. I'm basically almost done at this point, I think. I actually ended up staying up a little bit later last night working on this just because I had a vision, and I'm glad I did because it actually was like super time consuming. I ended up doing 3 sashes deep, like for the length of it, and just attaching it right to the inside of the liner at the top, because even the pink skirt that I'm referencing, it has shorts as a liner, and in between the shorts and the skirt is the elastic. And so I was gonna kind of try to do something similar with this, and so it actually just kind of worked out, and I think it's like the perfect length. Let me put it on and I'll show you. I have not yet added the elastic just because that's going to be like final step. It's like a little loose right now because I need to add in the elastic. The length is so much better. Oh my gosh, yeah, if I did not have other layer, it would not be good. I think what I want to do next, there is a lot more of this like paisley fabric up front than there is in the back. Like right here, it's super sparse. So this is the last of that fabric, and I've already taken the liberty of like reconnecting them and creating a new hem. So I think I'm just going to like crunch it up kind of and add like another layer there. So that way, 1, I'm using the rest of this fabric, no textile waste. And 2, it looks a little less barren right there just because the way that it cut, there's just less fabric there. Might as well get use out of the rest of the fabric. So I've already done this. That's what I was working on this morning. This is the last that I have of this like thick elastic. I think I'm just gonna make it work. I mean, it stretches over me. I've just made it a circle with a zigzag stitch, and it's like inside out. This is where the seam is for these two fabrics. I think what I should do is mark the four corners of it, because what I'm gonna have to do is clasp it in there, and then as I go I'm gonna have to pull and stretch. So I'll mark where the four corners are here as well. Yeah, okay, so I have the corners marked, and you can see there's a lot more, like this is the elastic right here and this is the fabric. Now that these are marked, I'm gonna have to pull and stretch and then zigzag stitch along that border, and then I'll just have to like stick my hand up there and just kind of shove the elastic up towards the border. Well, if one thing's for certain, the elastic made it shorter. Cannot show on camera because my butt cheeks are out. It's not bad. Like, I was gonna wear like shorts anyways, but no, booty cheeks are out. I guess the question is like, where does this go? And there is less of this fabric in the back, so I'm thinking I'll do that. Can't show on camera, otherwise it'll be taken down. If I wear it lower, it's not so bad. I just think it's gonna naturally move up, but maybe not. The elastic is honestly pretty tight, which is a good thing. Great news, the skirt is finished. The skirt is short, but the skirt is finished. So here's a sneak peek. You've already seen it. I will take some afters because the concert is tonight, but I think I want to move on to do the like hand warmers, the hand sleeves. So for the sleeves, I don't want to make this any more complicated than it needs to be because I am tired from making this skirt. The skirt was more complicated than I thought it would be. So let's make this easy. This is like already kind of tight as it is, which is good. I don't think I'm gonna have to do too much to it, so that's working in my favor. I'm gonna like chop one arm and then just kind of like mimic it. Now they're not gonna like stay up. Like if I were to shake, they will come off, and I need it to stay up. So I'm thinking I'm just gonna like hack it a little bit because it just needs to be a little bit tighter, and I don't want it like cutting off my circulation. I have this elastic, it's 1/8 of an inch. I'm thinking I don't even elastic all the way around. Maybe I just elastic like the inner third or so. I have arm sleeves. Okay, these are cute. They are still like a little loose, but they're not just like falling off anymore like they were. So, like there's this fine line. I used to have these like arm sleeves and I would never wear them because my arms would just like protrude over them and it just didn't look good. I feel like then it highlighted my arms, and I don't want to necessarily highlight my arms, you know? I kind of just want it to like be a part of the outfit without emphasizing that my arms have a little flubber to them. If I ever get a little more snatched, then I can always just like take them in a little bit, but for now, I think these will work. Also remember how I was collecting all those beads? These are them. When I ordered beads, it came in a tube like this, and I saved this tube just in case, and I'm glad I did because look, it literally filled up the entire tube. That's how many beads are off. That's amazing. That's a whole other beading project for me. Just the queen of reducing, reusing, and recycling. And with that, friends, fairy skirt 2.0? 3.0, 4.0. I can't seem to stay away from fairy skirts on this channel. Even when I wasn't planning on really making a fairy skirt, it turned into a fairy skirt. What can I say? It's in my veins. I'm putting in some footage here, some B-roll of the finished outfit, and can I just say I am obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with all the different textures. I think that's what makes a fairy skirt really stand out, when there's a lot of interest to it. There's velvet, there's beads, there's gems, there's sequins. It is truly such a cute skirt, and honestly, when I go to shows, I wear black quite often, so I think I'm gonna get a lot of use out of this. Not only that, but it kind of matches my leg warmers perfectly, even though I made that from an entirely different shirt from an entirely different time. Also upcycled. And also, how cool is it that literally almost every single thing on my body right now is upcycled to some capacity, either scraps from a previous project or recently thrifted to turn into something. I think that is so cool, and honestly, it makes me feel so confident wearing my own clothing that I make myself, on top of being like a sustainable queen. Yeah, it's a pretty good feeling. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I've made my fair share of fairy skirts on this channel. I think it's fun, I think it's creative, and it's a way to use a fabric that maybe you can't turn into something else. Or also, I was able to like reimagine a shirt that I wasn't wearing at all, and now I'm going to be wearing a one-of-a-kind piece for an event that I made myself. As I say, with literally every project, I learn something new every single time. This is my first time ever trying to like sew from beaded clothing. I've beaded clothing myself before, but I've never never upcycled beaded clothing, and that was a challenge. There's a couple beads in my sewing machine as we speak. I'll figure that out later. If you guys have any tips or tricks on the beaded clothing, let me know down below. The only thing I can like think of is like maybe hand sewing, but like, oh my gosh, that would take forever, and I'm not a hand sewer whatsoever, but maybe I need to learn. Maybe I need to learn. Not only that, maybe I just need to like be better about removing the beads ahead of time. It's just hard when especially when you're making something like this, because it's like I don't know exactly where I'm gonna be needing to sew, like where I'm hemming, but I could probably take an extra second and figure it out, and maybe that would spare me my sewing machine and all 6 needles that I broke throughout this entire project. Yeah, 6. That was crazy. I feel like every single project I do has troubles, but also it's like, I think it's fun taking you guys on the creative journey with me and also showing you how I overcome challenges and also what you can maybe reimagine, right? Like I am using a ton of thrifted materials and I'm upcycling it into something brand new. So my hope is that you can take this creative journey from me and like foster that creativeness in yourself. None of my sewing videos are tutorials. This one is no different, but I hope it was entertaining nonetheless. If you've watched this far and you're not yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button. I'm loving this little community I'm building on here, and I post thrift videos, sewing videos, DIY videos. I like all of that. So if that sounds like your jam, hit the subscribe button. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If nothing else, I just hope this video encourages you to stay creative, stay inspired, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye! And right as I go to start filming, they decide to vacuum our entryway. I'll wait. Oh, my boyfriend's work computer is going off right now. Hello, he's not home. Holy guacamole, that is crazy. Or you can kind of see still my tattoos peeking through to prove to everyone that I'm cool. Oh my God, I hate that. The bobbin was empty. Okay, I really gotta go. I gotta get ready for the show. Bye.